Luis Enrique saying they will learn from the suffering, and you could see just how much they did suffer tonight by the reaction of the PSG players on the final whistle, dropping to their knees. That was so close for them. Joe, did it feel like there was no losers at Villa Park tonight?
It was certainly Villa, you know, they've done themselves very, very proud, very, very similar to Dortmund. You know, the club, Villa haven't been in Europe for a long, long time. So the way that they applied themselves throughout the tournament, the fans had a great time. I think the story of the season is Unai Emery and how he's managed this competition and the signings they made in January. You know, resurgence of Rashford, who was brilliant tonight. They could be, the club's just going in the right direction. I'm absolutely convinced they'll get a Champions League spot again for next year. Love watching them play. They got some. Morgan Rogers is arguably one of the best young players in Europe.
At the expense of who, Joel?
Well, it could be my team or your team. It could be either. But they've just been absolutely brilliant. And the fans stayed and clapped them off. And they should rightfully be proud of this group of players. It's been a long time coming.
They're just 1 point off the top five. 5 places are guaranteed Champions League places. Do you agree, Owen, that they will be back there?
Yeah, I think they will. I think Chelsea's fixtures are really tough. I think they might struggle, obviously, the form that they're in. I think Aston Villa, the momentum they will have gotten from tonight, probably, you know, outplaying one of the best teams in what we've seen, Liverpool before, and then PSG, will give them huge confidence. Joe made a point, you know, Rashford, Rodgers, the weapons they have at the top of the pitch to go with Martinez and Unai Emery, that kind of high line that they play. They're an absolute brilliant watch. You know, credit Aston Villa, but you'd have to say PSG, they hung in there. They were on the ropes. They looked like they could have gone out. They hung in there, got the ball back, and found a way to get through. And this is a young team. The star of this team isn't any players anymore. It's the manager, Luis Enrique. This has become a proper team together, which is remarkable. And that's what shows you, that's what gets you to a semi-final, to win big trophies, is you got really collective. Before they carried Messi, Neymar, Mbappe at times. Yeah. Now they're doing it as a group, and it's amazing to see what they've been able to achieve.
And the way they started the game this evening, it felt, Joe, like it was just going to be one-way traffic in this tie.
It felt ominous. I mean, I've been singing the praises for PSG since they came into the competition. I think they've been absolutely. I know they struggled for results, but the way that they was playing, I saw them build. I saw Dembele, I saw Barcola. I thought the signing of Ruiz in midfield as well. And that just gets fizzed across, it comes back. Hakimi and Mendes, they've got the 2 best fullbacks in the competition as well. He drops it, his ball drops to him here, you know, and he just dispatches it. Martinez, I think, gets Martinez was actually sensational tonight. But that man there, is there a better right back in world football? I don't know. And he's involved again, Owen, isn't he?
How about this guy?
Back and through.
All the way back from, you know, they use the width, they get the, you know, they've got pace in wide areas, get it wide. Mendes, that's a left back in open play lanes. Sits in that little pocket of space, composure. He's a brilliant athlete, and that's a brilliant finish. And you think about the goals, you're talking about Barca's front 3, PSG's front 3, and then now you've got these fullbacks that are attacking.
The fullbacks between them have contributed 12 Champions League goals this season. Just how crucial are they for them?
That's silly. We haven't seen that really since Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, you know, and that was a remarkable campaign. But I think these two have done an incredible job of just obviously
pass map for the goal. And it's a work of art.
It really was, and I think we saw that in the Inter game from the keeper. These coaches are getting so good now; they have detailed plans of how they want to play out, and depending on what the opposition does, Joe, that's how they apply it. And I think obviously Mendes is an amazing. I think Hakimi's one of the quickest fullbacks. They're a problem.
I think they're the most athletic team left in the competition, and I think what's hindered them before in the past, where they've won the league at a canter, you know, and they sort of fell off in big moments. I think that they'll go. The league's going to be sewn up there, but I think this group of players, whatever Luis Enrique is periodising his training, they look so strong. I've not seen them this strong at this stage of the season. They was always filtering off, because when you're not, you know, iron sharpens iron. When you're not playing the best teams, and then all of a sudden you've got to go 2 legs with a prime Liverpool or a prime Real Madrid, sometimes to lift yourself after a long season's hard. But they're getting something right there. And Luis Enrique, I think, is one of the most underrated managers. He put the foundations in place for this great Spain side that went and won the Euros as well. Watching them at the World Cup, when he was in charge, I thought they was very, very good, and he put down the foundations there. And I think he's come into PSG and he's come in at the right time. Got all of the young players that they got, which is they've got them in abundance around the Paris area. Brought identity back to the team. The fans are together, and that's why I backed them. And I will keep reminding people that while they're still in the competition.
But it wasn't the perfect plan tonight because it really faltered, didn't it? The Villa comeback was on. It started with Yuri Tielemans, Owen, with a big deflection off Pacho, but this really gave the fans that glimmer of hope.
Yeah, I think Unai Emery, he had a game plan. Obviously, he didn't really go with that many wide players. More centre mids. Football's brilliant. Tielemans, what a player he is, by the way. You know, he's so underrated. Does a brilliant job. Obviously, takes a huge deflection off Pacho. But that, when you get one, then it's game on. Then everybody starts to have a bit of belief. Unai's been here before, and this one I love. McGinn sits in a little pocket of space. How about this? You're not going to put any pressure on the ball. Have this. Run straight through the heart of the team. I love that.
What
takes a bit of deflection, and a brilliant goal. Then everybody's thinking, wow. This is game on, and you've got one of the best teams left in the competition, or potentially the best, on the ropes. And as a player, you can feel that. And they were on the ropes. Marcus Rashford was absolutely brilliant in terms of creating. Watch this for a little
This is an unbelievable bit of play.
See you later. Little nutmeg there, little chop inside. How about the finish from Konza, Joe?
Yeah, superb.
Class.
Superb. And Marcus Rashford's been bored again, hasn't he? That's what we want to see. You know, this is one of the top players. Great finish from Konsa. But going back to what you said about it, it started to go wrong for PSG. This is the Champions League. Aston Villa are absolutely at their best. So PSG, for me, showed a lot of character. Think of the times over the years when we've seen them completely fold. Completely crumble in situations like this. That is playing in your mind. If you're a PSG fan, if you're on the staff, certainly if you're the players, you know, because you start thinking, oh no, not again.
And then you
have to find a way. And I thought Pacho was different class at the back. I know he scored the own goal, but I thought players like him, I thought the lads that come on, they give them athleticism. They've just got everything.
Donnarumma.
It was about Donnarumma.
Saves,
Donnarumma, Owen, is he the reason that they're in that semi-final tonight?
Yeah. I mean, he made some silly. This again, Marcus Rashford, could see him coming inside. Brilliant. Does so well. What's a save? Strong save from Donnarumma. This one, I think it's the Tielemans header. If he's not 6'5", he doesn't save that. It's a great leap. And again, he's off his line. It does. Honestly, he is the reason. That ball from Marcus Rashford is ridiculous. Konza just misses it. Maybe he doesn't see it because it dips. But they created chance after chance. They were so on the ropes. That was from Maatsen late in the game. And again, it's Pacho. We had 2 deflections off him before. Yeah. Somehow, I don't know how, he closes his legs and sits down and it hits him. And that was right at the end of the game. But it went right to the end.
It's one of them games of football, isn't it, where you're praising both teams. You're great defending, great attacking, wonderful play. Just everything about the game was superb. And it doesn't always happen at this stage, but we're pleased it happened tonight. Lots of tweets coming in from the fans. That was a captain's performance. What a bloke from John McGinn. That's why they call him Super John McGinn. But the sentiment coming through all the messages is just how proud the fans were of their team tonight, Owen. And they'll be feeling that this is a sign of things to come for this side under Unai Emery.
Oh, yeah, they're here to stay. Credit the manager and the football club for building up to where they are. You couldn't make a bigger compliment what Luis Enrique said. He won't forget that game for a long time. You go to Villa Park, they get one goal and the stadium blows up. And they've been building toward this. And that was a special game. They came up a little bit short, but they'll be back next season. Don't worry about that.
The way PSG had to fight tonight, the way they had to come through against Liverpool, is there a bit of a feeling there that this just might be their time? Yeah, absolutely. And again, I was concerned a few years ago when they bent over backwards to give Kylian Mbappe this contract, and the noises coming out there was that he was involved in who was coming and going. Signing of Messi. I know they won the league title with him, but it didn't quite work. We watched them play in that spell, and it was just like it was incredible to watch, because you imagine being them 7 lads doing the defending they had to do and watching them 3 up, standing up there and not doing it. Like, you can't win a tournament like that, no matter who. And PSG proved that you can't win a Champions League without everyone being at it. So credit to the people at PSG who would have come together and gone, right,
we're going in this direction now. Who's the manager? We get the right manager in, Luis Enrique, yet. Now we're going to have the right players, the right recruitment, and they're just all on the right path. And I really, really fancy them to win it. I really do.